And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. We have another great show in store for you here every Tuesday live at 8 p.m. My guest tonight, Legacee Kares. And Legacee is somebody I just met the other day, and I heard her give a fascinating exposition really about her new app that she designed. And it helps young people get sort of health information that they need and other information as well. So I was fascinated by your presentation. It was at the 30th anniversary of ACT UP, which was at the Housing Works site over on Avenue D and 10th Street, I think. And so you know, it was an honor to be at the 30th anniversary of ACT UP in the first place, but then to hear this great device that had been, you know, it's really, you know, coming in 30 years ago. We didn't have apps, right? We didn't have iPhones. We didn't barely had computers really, and people would have to, you know, get the information from television and hope that the TV news would put it on. Now you can find that information and push it to people as you're doing as well. So thank you very much for joining us, Legacee Kares, here on Let Them Talk. And let me begin by just asking you, what is your app? Let's talk about that first. What is your app? What does it do?
So
what is an app?
Okay.
For people who don't know what an app is, what's an app?
Okay, so an app is how can I put this? So an app is something that you can get from your Play Store, like usually where your music is. It's a game or maybe a book that you can read on your phone. It's different ways to act.
Right. It's like application, right?
Right.
It's short for application. It's the stuff that's on your phones.
Yes.
Right. So I don't know if I'm doing the wrong thing by showing people my phone, but it's on your phone, right? And it's all those little things, those little cartoon things that are on your phone, and one of them, they're called apps.
Yes.
Now this one is what it's called. It's named. You have the same name as your app, Legacee Kares.
Yes. So my name is Legacee, right? And my last name is Medina, but Legacee Kares is the name of the app that I created because my name is Legacee and I do care. So I wanted everybody to know that that's,
right.
You know.
So you created the app yourself?
Yes.
How did you learn to create apps? How did you?
So I didn't put the format of the app together. I actually worked with an app developer, but the resources and the design of the app came from me.
I see. And so how did you get the idea to put together this app? Why did you think there was a need for it?
I work with young people. ACT UP did a town hall recently. Well, last year we did a town hall with a lot of the organizations that deal with the homeless youth population. And what I noticed is that none of these organizations are interconnected. So young people don't really know about other agencies. So I created something where they would be able to have empowerment in the palm of their hands, where they can find resources on their own.
So, okay, so you're interested in, are you yourself, were you at one time a homeless youth?
Yes, I was.
And so you've come from, that's a fascinating story in and of itself. You've come from, I imagine, being in a shelter, family shelter, and that kind of situation, right? And, you know, I'm a public school teacher, so I know a little bit. And so you were able to, how did you travel from the world of New York City homeless family shelters to developing app developer?
So my story is pretty unique, actually. Being a former homeless young person of New York City, it's different than it is now, right? A lot of the scene has changed. A lot of the technology that we have now has changed. When I was coming up and being a young homeless person, right, and I was dealing with identity issues and, you know, running away and trying to be with my friends and things like that, right? My mom didn't have the problem, I did, right? So, like looking and searching for things, usually you would find them from your peers, right? How you would find resources and things like that, and how you would navigate the jungles of New York City would usually be from a person that you met somewhere else. I want to put Legacee Kares in a position where young people don't have to just look within their peers, you know, to find
and get like
resources.
Sometimes sort of twisted information and advice.
Right.
I used to give advice which I thought was true, and people would come to me, and I think back, oh, I can't believe I told them that. Oh my God! But when you're a kid, you think you know everything, right?
And that's, I believe, like that's what it was, and how I came to be the person that I am. I had to go through a lot. Maybe if I would have listened to some of the right people to do the right things, I wouldn't have gone through some of the things that I have, but I did, and I'm glad that I did. Now I have the ability to help young people, who may not know how to ask for help, but they have cell phones. Everybody, really deals with cell phones, young people nowadays. So I think the empowerment issue is what I dealt with then and what they can have now.
So it's a little bit more than what you're offering. It's a little bit more than Angry Birds or whatever it is that you'll play. Maybe we could throw up a copy of it. We have your webpage up here. We could take a look at it right now if we have a moment. And legaceekares.org is the website, of course. And when the engineer gets it set up, he'll throw it up there. We can take a look at it. And so that's where people can find out and can actually get the app or more information about the app, right? What are some of the features of this application?
Oh, we have a lot. So we have drop-in centers, we have shelters, we have food pantries, we have soup kitchens, we have prep information, right? For those who may not know what prep is.
Right. Okay, prep is very important, right? Nowadays in the modern world, right? So if and morning after or whatever it is, all those different things that people use nowadays, right?
And it's very important.
Right, and prep is, of course, if you're afraid, you see them advertised on Subway, people might not know what it is, but it's a drug you can get right from the city if you need it, like right away. The next day that prevents.
That's PEP.
Right. People for the transmission of HIV. Right, immediately. So in case, like, oh my God, who was that person last night? Oh my God. I've been there. I don't know. You're too nice, I know, but I have been there.
Right.
That feels better.
We've all been different places, right? But it also, because mental health is a really big topic at the time too, right? As well as HIV. It has mental health guides on there so that people can know where they can get behavioral health help, right, in their community. And the best feature that I like is the rate your experience portion. Why? Because now it gives people a voice to rate their experience, good, bad, or indifferent, when they visit these places. Sometimes grievances don't go beyond a certain point, so now it.
Oh, so you can rate so sort of like these apps where you can rate a restaurant or a bar or a club or something like that.
Yes.
Oh, that place was horrible. Once I rated, I checked a motel before I said, this motel's only $30 a night. I
you should have been suspicious.
Oh no, man! I'd rather pay $50. All right.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for those things.
So,
right? Yeah.
So what happens is, right? So say, Paul, you have like some great organization. Young people come there, they love it. Like you are the best CEO ever.
Sure.
They rate your experience on my app. It comes directly to me. So what I do is I'll send it to you. Like, Paul, the kids think you're great. Whatever you're doing over there, it's wonderful.
Oh, I see. So they can get positive feedback.
Right.
The person who runs the program or the counselor people are talking to and things like
or if I get a number of complaints that may not be so on the positive side, I'll reach out to whoever the CEO is, right? Because this is anonymous, and I'll try to see what we can work on to maybe improve whatever is going on.
Wow. Do you have any help from the city in doing this?
So no. So my biggest backup was ACT UP.
With Thank goodness for ACT UP, right?
Right.
How did you get involved in ACT UP?
So being a youth peer at Housing Works, someone recommended me to ACT UP.
What is Housing Works, and what does a youth peer at Housing Works do?
Okay, so Housing Works is an organization that started about 25 years ago. It was co-founded by 4 people who came from ACT UP, right? One of the founders, Charles King, Jenny Schubert, Eric Sawyer, and Keith Kyler, rest in peace, right? Started Housing Works because of the epidemic that was happening back then. People weren't being housed, right? So hence the word Housing Works. So 26 years later, we are here. We have adult health care clinics youth peers are
Yeah.
people who work in our youth department, because now we are fortunate today to have a youth department for not necessarily homeless youth, but at-risk youth or youth who may want to find other outlets and do other things.
And this is not limited to LGBTQ youth.
Oh,
It's
no, no,
not
no, no, no.
limited to homeless youth.
No.
Anybody could, hook up with this app
Yes.
and find.
Technically,
this myriad of
anybody
programs.
can.
Yeah.
Most of the program-wise, right? So like the drop-in centers and the shelters and things like that are youth friendly, right? But the food pantries, right? Soup kitchens, the clothing resources, prep, mental health. These are all things that the general population can access.
I see. Anybody can use it. So it's not limited to any. So anybody out there can use this. All young people. And I know we have a lot of young people, because we're not that late. We're sort of like right at the right time for a lot of young people to watch this show. And I know they watch the show. And so this is great. You can speak to people who can immediately go to your legacee.org, legaceekares.org to download this app. And here's your website here. And so tell us a little bit about, so this is, so you can go to Home, About Us, which is a lot of what we're talking about right now. You can go to Donate, a non-profit corporation, and you can contact and get more information as well.
Yes.
And what a beautiful website.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's because I'm from Brooklyn.
Right.
I had to do the Brooklyn Bridge, right?
Well, Manhattan's on the other side.
Yeah. Right. And I love Manhattan, and the purple is because they say trees don't grow in Brooklyn. So that was my concept, and purple means unity and love.
It's amazing that book goes over 100 years old, has so much impact that we still talk about a tree growing in Brooklyn, right? A tree grows in Brooklyn, right? All right, great, wonderful. And so, okay, great. And this is where people could download the app, or should they go to their app store, right?
No, so they should go to the app store to download the app. This is more so like just for like organizations who may want to contact me, or people who want to contact me who just want to may not have space on their app, but can go through my website.
Right.
And find
so
out
your
information.
app full, it's jam-packed, right?
Yeah, my app has a lot of information in it. It really does.
Right. So so we need more, right? More of this kind of thing. You're setting a standard for what the future might, using the internet.
Yes, I'm always open to more people who may have organizations and things like that out there who service the community.
Right.
I'm always open to upload them.
So it works on both Apple and
Android.
Both systems, right? That's great. And how did the idea come to you? Like one day you said, we need an app. Was it a spark of genius?
No, I just knew that there was a need that needed to be filled, and I needed to find a way that people weren't already filling it. So I realized that young people love technology. And I also realized that young people love privacy, right? So what's better than to create an app? I seen everybody else, everything is palm of the hand.
That way nobody has to know, right?
Right.
Except the National Security Agency. If they want to know, if they need to know that, if it keeps us safer. But excellent. So, okay, great. So then you started, how did you track down somebody to help you make it?
I didn't track them down. So I live in the wonderful New York City, right? We live in this great city, a melting pot of people that travel here from all over the world. And my app developer lives in California. She was here visiting, and she was just on the train, happened to be talking about an app that she just did overseas. And I'm like, I cannot let this.
You just overheard her talking about it on the subway.
Yes.
Great.
And it was like, I could not let this opportunity pass me by. And ever since then, she's believed in my app.
You stopped her on the subway and you said?
No, we were in the same subway car. We were this close to each other.
Right.
And she was having a conversation with someone else. And how our subways are if you live here, right? It's not very hard to miss someone's conversation. And I was just like I need your help. I have an idea. I didn't even tell her it was a great idea.
Yeah.
My phone was dead, so I couldn't take her number. I gave her mine and asked that if she would call me when she got off the train, and she did.
Okay. Right.
And it's
then
flourished from there.
Wow. It went from there. And you discussed the ideas that you had for this app, and she said, what a great idea.
Yes.
Right?
And put it together.
Wow.
And she's just like, send me the information, because she believed in me. The cost of it did not come close to what she would charge like a 501(c) or like all these other like organizations, because she believed that it's something that not can only be here in New York, but all the way to where she lives in California.
Sure. I mean, this could be in any location, any jurisdiction could do this, and for the young people there to go and get the services that they have a right to get, that are there for them. Wow, that's great. So what are some of the services? We talked about PrEP, and we talked about some of those. What are some of the other services that are specific to young people?
So what I like is that if you go on my app, right, you can go within the tabs. So when you go in the tabs, you can see the services, and then you can see what they have to offer. Right. So say you're a young person, you may have gotten into some legal trouble. Yeah. We know we can't afford lawyers when we're young. Some of us can't even afford them when we're older, right? So there are legal services that can help you. Heterosexual, LGBTQ, immigration, housing. Maybe you're a foster kid, right? And you're having housing issues where someone wants to evict you because of whatever situation, right? Oh, I see. So there are different elements to my app that are...
So you have housing, you have LGBTQ, you have foster care, you have
immigration.
Interesting. So those are all very useful.
Yes.
And all right there.
On the palm of your hand.
Right. Better than 311.
Oh, and it's GPS accessible. So, right? So say I'm going to use Housing Works as an example. So say I walk past Housing Works and I needed to be tested for HIV, and not all times, when you walk past an organization, they are visual, right? My GPS will go off the location and say
it'll buzz in your pocket that you found the place. This is so if you don't know where it is, or you're wandering around looking for the place, and you set it to tell you when you go by that place. And of course it was very interesting because they were discussing at the 30th anniversary of ACT UP at the event we met that now they've gotten the city. They don't even call it like AIDS testing anymore. Now it's called sexual health.
Yes. So
it's everything.
Yes. So
and not just one group, but anybody who needs, which is like everybody, the whole world, right?
I'm very big on branding, right, and marketing, and how
I can see that.
HIV is perceived, right, and what it looks like, and I feel like when it comes to our young people, they are not receiving the message because it's just a message of MSM or transgender youth that are contracting HIV, right? When that is so, it's taken away from a broader population. So this is why I also again created Legacee Kares, because it gives all populations to find out about PrEP who may not know, because that's a tab. People will be curious, like, what is PrEP? Let me press this. They have amazing sock puppets on it, so they do like little fun songs to educate you about
make it easier for a kid to swallow this information that they need to know, right?
Yes.
But it's a bit shocking when you're young. So So it's a youth talking to youth, so you're explaining it to them in terms that they can understand, right? Which makes it easier than, I see the ads on the subway, and it's like basically middle-aged gay guys, right?
With a blue pill, swallow this.
Right, this is your pill and that pill. Right, but for young people, that's not going to work. They're not going to look at that.
I think that, in this day and age of technology, people should take advantage of it. I think people should take advantage of things that young people use, like memes and like little Snapchat videos and things like that, to get these messages across when you're an organization, because that is what is happening at this point. Young people are not looking at pamphlets. I just like that day and era of passing out pamphlets is over.
Right, because people, they just throw them away. They just don't look at them.
They definitely do.
Yeah, they don't look at them. Yeah, right. But the app, that's what they're used to. But, it's interesting because you might not be aware, but just recently some member of the Trump administration said, just sell your phone. Instead of buying a phone, use the money to get insurance. Right, which I thought was the most insulting thing, as if people don't need cell phones. The cell phones have gone beyond just a luxury now.
And it's in New York City, you can get a free phone on any corner, right? They even have commercials now where you can get SafeLink and Assurance wireless phones that are now Androids, right?
Yeah.
Of the basic phones, and we have Wi-Fi in most of our subway systems now, on our streets or our McDonald's. So what phone would be free that someone would be selling in order to, pay for their health insurance? Or what kind of phone do you think people are out here buying, that's like going to cover their health insurance for every month that they have to pay?
I'm old enough to remember the early days of HIV and of AIDS, and we don't want to ever see that again. And
we don't.
If there's any tool that can help people prevent it or get help, or and learn something before they go out, into the world, and learn the things the hard way, it's the last thing we want.
So this is why I think that bringing Legacee Kares out into the forefront, so that young people know, well, I might have to have survival sex for food, or I don't maybe have to have survival sex for shelter, or, not just for, food if they're homeless, but just to bring food into their homes, because some people are living in impoverished homes without having to visit the shelter system.
Because it was said to me once that if everybody got all the things that was due to them as a right, the whole government would go bankrupt overnight, which would be the greatest thing in the world. And I really hope your app helps bankrupt the government. Sooner the better, right? It's one of the most wonderful things to help people find out all the things that are out there that they have no idea about. And I won't go into the details, but I've worked enough in the world of social services to know that I was told not to tell people. Because it's too expensive. Don't ever suggest to somebody what to do.
Why would you tell people that they can be healthy when we can, when it pays more to keep them sick? You know what I mean? Or why tell people that their resources is here when they can do another thing to get in trouble, and we can just lock them up and collect the money? You know what I mean?
Right, like private prisons now are a big private professional thing. And here you have a way to get a lawyer, right? Right. Boom, boom, boom. I can get a lawyer. I'm an 18-year-old kid, a 17-year-old kid. I'm in trouble, and 16 and 17-year-old kids in New York State, one of only 2 states in the whole country.
North Carolina. I just was in Albany doing the Raise the Age at Somos.
Oh, you were
on
at the
Saturday.
Raise the Age?
I definitely was with my coworker Jillian. We and Charles King also was there. We chanted through the halls of Albany that they need to raise the age. I don't know what's going on with New York and North Carolina, but they are the only 2 states who technically
not
try.
Alabama, not Mississippi, not Louisiana, all the ones that always Arkansas, the ones that always get the rap. No, New York and North Carolina, which are supposed to be similar states.
Yes, are the biggest ones who prosecute young men and women at the age of 16 and try them as adults. So,
And so that's what Raise the Age is about.
Yes.
It's Raise the Age to 18 or 21.
Yes.
Hopefully 21. And so you were in the halls of Albany. How were you received in Albany?
Oh, so they loved us. So we had about 25 young people chanting through the halls to raise the age. They don't want to take this anymore.
Right, of criminal responsibility. So if you do a kid thing, like, take a candy bar or something, you could wind up doing a hard time with hard guys in Rikers.
Yes.
And we had that young man who committed suicide after being held.
Khalif Brower.
Khalif Brower,
yes.
right? And who spent months in prison for no reason, just for a backpack.
Yes, that he didn't even steal, right? So,
With your app, he could have been able to get a lawyer, maybe. He might have been able to raise the money to get bail. He might still be alive, maybe. He might have had help when he was depressed and feeling like miserable because of what they did to him.
Because there is behavioral health on my app, right?
Yeah. Suicide prevention, things like that? Oh, my gosh.
So I made sure that, because I also deal with mental health diagnosis, right?
Yes.
I like to present myself to let people know that mental health diagnosis does not stop you from being successful or succeeding in what it is that you want to do, right? Seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist is okay, right? Some people need different functions in order to function in life, right? So being a person who, right? So I used to hear older people having conversations like, I went and got my coffee, stopped by and seen my therapist, and I used to look like, what is going on? And, now being an older adult, I'm like, I need to see my therapist because I work. I have this app thing going. I'm speaking here. I'm doing this. So seeing my therapist is like a self-care thing. And then
it's therapy.
Yes, it's like that friend that you can tell things and you really, due to their job and the confidentiality and the ability to sue them, they can't tell your business.
It's a secret forever.
Ever, right?
Yeah.
So, that's good. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So, and you have that kind of information, mental health information.
Yes.
And I can suggest harm reduction. I'm very involved in harm reduction. We've had a number of harm reduction folks here talking about, ways of dealing with drugs in a much more creative way, in which it's not always about, 12-step is great for people who works, and I'm sure there's a link to that. But there's other things as well.
Yeah. But that's like sexual health as well, right?
Yeah.
So you promote abstinence and more kids get pregnant, right? So what do?
Exactly.
You teach them how to have sex in a safer, way and conduct themselves in a safer way. You can't keep telling them not to, because that they are. Clearly, we see it with teen pregnancy that they are going to do it regardless.
All right, we got a minute to go. How do you market this, Legacee Kares?
So I am a self-promoting marketer. Wherever I can scream it from the rooftops, that's what I'm doing.
Right. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, anything you want to add? I think we have like half a minute now. Anything that I missed, or do you have to add to the story?
I just want to say thank you for the people who've been supporting it so far. If you want to support it some more, just go to my Legacee Kares at gmail.com.
That's your camera right there.
Oh,
look,
at
there they are.
gmail.com and reach out to me, and I'll be looking forward to working with you.
All right, great. And they can reach out for you at your website, legaceekares.org, right?
Yes.
LEGACEEKARES.org.
Yes.
And hopefully good luck to you, and good luck to all the work you do. It's such great work. I think you're one of the most important people. Go ahead.
Thank you. And if you want to give me some funding, you can do that too.
All right, great. Give her funding. Give her everything she needs. All right, good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Paul.